Welcome back to Empowered by Keisha. Today's video is going to be about 4 really real, true, I've used hacks for helping with toddler tantrums. Welcome back to Empowered by Keisha. I feel like a lot of times people post things and they don't tell you how to actually do them. So this is what this video is going to be about. So if you have a toddler, keep watching. First things first, when it comes to toddlers, you want to make sure that you remain calm at all times. When they are having tantrums, that is the hardest thing in the world to process, okay? They're screaming, they're upset. It can trigger us as parents, right? If we're being honest, it triggers us. It triggers something in us that just want to be like, be quiet. But you have to remain calm. So one thing that I've been doing with my son is when he is having a tantrum, I let him have his moment. And when he's done, I'll ask him, are you okay? Do you need anything? And a lot of times I'll be like, do you want a hug? And he'll give me a hug. I feel like that's my way of letting him know that mommy is always there for him. Even when he's upset and he's frustrated, I'm always here. But you have to remain calm. When it comes to, in general, when it comes to kids, what I've learned is by reading tons of books, and I'll put a podcast in particular on the screen that taught me about how to remain calm when it comes to toddlers. But we think they understand a lot more than they actually do. And they don't really understand as much as we think they understand. So you have to give them things and feed them things or ask them things in small bits because they don't really understand. Like, say, for instance, it's time for you to go to sleep. You need to go to sleep. They don't really understand that. But if you say night night, they understand that. So you have to speak in toddler language to your toddlers. So the next tip is making sure you get down to their level. Imagine being a small person. You have this person that's taller than you over you being like, you need da, 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 da. So what I do is I get down to his level and I'll look at him and I'll say, what do you need, baby? Use your words. And he'll say if he needs EE or book or whatever. Sometimes he says llama mama for book. So whatever little things he says, I just make sure that I'm communicating with him on his level so that he doesn't feel like I'm like towering over him. Even when I'm like disciplining him or telling him he can't do certain things, a lot of times I will grab his arms very gently and pull him close to me, and I'll say, you can't do dot dot dot. So getting on their level is really important. So the next thing is, a lot of times when they're having tantrums, this is one tip that I just learned, is allowing them the space to have that tantrum. Because just imagine, like, when we're upset, we get to be upset. Okay, we cuss people out, we do whatever we need to do to get through that frustration. And then once we're done, we're like, oh, okay, all right, I'm good now, like I'm solid. A few days ago I had like a full-on crash out because I've been having issues with my PCOS, and I crashed out, and then afterwards I was like, damn, I feel better. So that's just giving you an idea that a lot of times all they need to do is have their own space to do their own thing, and then you could just be there after to be like, are you okay? Is there anything you need? Whatever the case may be. But let them have their tantrum first, give them the space, give them the room to have that safely, and then move forward from there. If they're doing things that are unsafe, then you step in because you don't want them doing things that are unsafe. You want to help them work through it in a more positive manner. So if they're doing anything unsafe, as a parent, you step in. Oh, baby, you can't do that. That's not safe, and you figure it out from there. Another one that's tremendously helped, because my son is a biter when he's upset. He is a hitter when he's upset. And he also has been doing this new thing where he bangs his head on things. So what I do in this situation when he's wanting to bite me or hit me, I grab him in his arm gently, how I said like in the last part. I grab his arms gently. I look at him. I say, you hit mommy. That hurts mommy. That's not nice. And a lot of times he'll immediately hug me afterwards. and we just go about our day. He doesn't hit anymore. Sometimes you have sometimes where he'll still try to hit me afterwards, and I just do it again. You hit mommy, that hurts mommy. That's not nice. You can't hit mommy. And he'll give me a hug. And by the second or third time, he'll stop. Another thing, one thing that my friend just mentioned when I was just on the phone with her is that it's important to be consistent. It's hard to be consistent. It's annoying to be consistent because as adults, we understand, right? But they don't understand. I have to remind myself every single day that he's a toddler. Like, we literally have to teach him everything. He does not know everything. So that's just my gentle reminder. Maybe you can use that reminder for yourself as well. But that's what I do when he's hitting, biting, or doing anything that's not safe for him. I will put a few book suggestions on the screen that have helped me. I'm raising a little boy, so I do have some books that are meant specifically for little boys. So I'll put them on the screen. So if you guys are interested in engulfing in books or podcasts, I will 100% share. My biggest thing is that I didn't like that I was yelling so much at my son. So I wanted to do things that were a more gentle approach than the way that I was raised. I say it all the time, like, I know how I was raised, and I see the result of how I turned out, and he deserves different. So these are the things that I use. If you guys are new parents, if you're first time moms, if you have a newborn, whatever case may be, I would love for you guys to drop a comment. Tell me how old your baby is. And that's the end of this video. And see you guys next time.